Coming up on today's video, why it's so great to be the king of MTG Finance. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend and you saw that thumbnail, MTG Finance King. It's not me, I know. The thumbnail showed me with the crown. Showed me wearing the finance crown to be king. But I'm not king. But I could be. We're going to get there. When you think of Magic the Gathering as a card game, this game started out, for those who didn't know, as just a collectible game. We bought packs at a store, we bought a starter deck, and you built a deck. And when you wanted cards, you didn't go to the front and go onto eBay and order them. You traded for them. We traded in gymnasiums, we traded at libraries, we traded at our local card shop. We traded to get the cards we wanted. That's what the game was like. But somewhere, not me as a teenager, but someone older, had that idea. How can I make money from what these kids are doing? How can I do that? So somebody looked into it. And somebody found out that different editions were coming or going. Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised. And there was expansions going on. And for all you know, they probably just made a phone call and found out because Wizards of the Coast was tiny back then. They probably just answered the phone and said what they were doing. So that led somebody to the idea that this could be a financial windfall. Just like really old hockey cards that you could pay cash for, they did the same thing, and it has been replicated for the last 30 years in many other card games, living and failed. That's how it's been. So now we think of Magic the Gathering, whether you like it or not, there is a financial side to this game that people pay attention to. There are reserve list finance channels, there are commander finance channels, there is financial information everywhere about this game, about what cards are going up, what cards are going down, what cards you should hold, which cards you should sell. You hear people, even myself, talking about it all the time. But I didn't say I was king, did I? None of those channels did. What makes a financial expert in Magic the Gathering? It's a good question. This is an unregulated market where people can do whatever they want. They can manipulate the market. They can buy, sell, trade, control. They can buy a card out and hold it. There is so much Wild West action going on in Magic the Gathering that most people don't have a clue. They may think they know, but they're lying to you. I'm sorry. It's a straight up lie. Nobody really knows. Okay? It's not controlled by one person. There's no single king. There are a few kings out there ruling from on high. They are so high up the channel, they've controlled the game by buying out certain cards for so long that they are the finance kings. But they usually don't take part personally in what goes on in the game anymore. Picture it like some vampire lord sitting on high, directing the puppet minions of his armies below. Right? Back in the day, there was no way of selling on a platform like eBay. Right? We didn't have eBay back then. You had to go to a local store. And a lot of the wealth was concentrated in the cities where you had some bigger game stores who would have that. Or how about those backpack guys who would go around to conventions and sell you cards outside their backpacks? And they had like 10 Black Lotuses back there or 20 Black Lotuses. Because they knew that if they controlled that many, there would be money to be made. Now on this channel, talking about the financial side of things and a finance king, I came on this channel and I told people we're going to buy out Soldevi Excavations. I made a big thing of it. I let people know what I was doing. Soldevi Excavations. Okay? Some people on my channel joined in. Other people on my channel already had copies of it. We all emailed and got the ball rolling. Some of the bigger YouTube channels helped me out and they went in talking about it. But there were people behind the scenes who may have already had some of these cards. But I doubt it. Because this is not one of the cards that they considered financially viable. It's not one of the big cards that they said, this is one of the ones. And that's where there's holes in the finance side of Magic. It can be so easily manipulated by one person such as myself buying some copies with a little financial help that before you know it, that card went up for no reason. And then people start spouting off saying, oh, well, you know, there was a public buyout and this channel bought it out. Right? City of Shadows on this side, another card I said I was going to buy out. This one's a lot more expensive. It is taking time because it's an older card with a lower print run. So it's a little more expensive. Guess what? That card as well has gone up since we bought it. Funny, right? So to be a finance king in Magic the Gathering, all it takes is a few people with a concentrated effort on a particular set of cards that they say they want. That's how the original buyouts were done. They didn't target this big mass of cards like we do nowadays in the last year or two. It's been always singular cards, cornerstoning a particular deck that needs that card in it, right? If we know there's some amazing deck that has to have 2 Moxes, and you buy out those particular Moxes, you drive that price up for anyone trying to build that deck. And then FOMO and a whole bunch of other stuff comes in that results in that person looking like a genius, looking like a finance wizard. But really, it was just a manipulated market by a small group of people which caused that effect in the game to happen. That's the way this game is played nowadays. That's the understanding, at least as I see it, on how the game is played. You got to be careful. You got to hold your cards and not really sell anymore, because you may sell and you may miss out on something. That's what happens. I can't tell you how many times I've sold a card and then a year later it's doubled or tripled in value. So that's when the whole thing came up with some people on this channel saying we hold the line. We don't just sell our cards, we hold them now. We're not going to give in to the higher up finance kings of the world. We're going to stay right where we are and hold our cards. Keep them for ourselves and build our own wealth in Magic the Gathering. Because that's how it's done. That's how they did it. They didn't listen to anybody and they held their cards. That's how they grew into the finance king they are today. And again, it's probably not just one person, right? There's probably a few people out there that have done this. And I think the king's crown has traded hands a few times in the history of this game. Probably the first couple of people who did this, they probably got in and out pretty quick thinking the game wouldn't last that long. So they didn't carry the crown that long. They probably made a quick buck, flipped it, and left, thinking the game would die. And it didn't. So then longer term players came along. People who invest in Magic boxes back then. The guys who bought the Arabian Nights boxes, the dark, revised, unlimited beta, and kept them sealed and said, I see some real potential here. Sure, they're taking a risk, but back then, $100 a box for a working person in their 20s and 30s and 40s at that point, right? It's amazing stuff. And that's what makes the game so dynamic. It's not just that it's a playable game with great mechanics and rules. There is the financial side that drives a lot of the player base to do certain things with their cards. It's amazing to see the rise of a card, the fall of a card when it falls out of favor. What a banning can do to a card. What an artist can do to a card. This game has become so intrinsically dynamic. It is phenomenal to see the game effects happen across the board when certain unintended consequences come our way. Wizards of the Coast will do nothing to change this. Nothing. They don't care. They will keep plowing forward because they know the current setup of the game makes them a lot of money. Because that intrinsic value in the cards now is embedded. It is embedded in the value of those cards. That's why people buy certain cards out, wait for them to rotate out. Because a lot of these aren't being reprinted, by the way, in case you didn't realize. They do some special sets, but a lot of these cards are never really going to come back the same way they were before. Wizards understands now that these finance king, the person who wears the crown in the backdrop, they don't care about that person. They just know that person controls enough of the secondary market to allow them to make a lot of money in the primary market when it first comes to bat. It is a crazy thing, but that's how the game is played, and it is not an unfair. It is unfair. That's what I meant to say. It is an unfair playing field for anyone new trying to come in who says the cards are too expensive. To get some of the cards you may want, yep, too expensive. So just stick to the funness of the game. Buy a couple of intro, starter deck, brawl deck, pioneer, something simple to play. It took all those players years to get where they are, and it'll take you as a new player that long as well. But don't trade your stuff away as easily as you might have in the past. If you want to get into reserve list, start with some lower end cards and start picking them up. Build your wealth step by step. Those finance kings did not become king overnight. I did not go where I am today by all of a sudden just spending this money all at once. It took time, effort, patience. If you want to be a king of finance and magic, if there is such a thing, because we all say we're not financial experts, there just has to be an understanding of how that market works, what can play for you and against you in that market, and understanding a lot of it's still luck. Nobody knows exactly when to sell. Nobody knows exactly when a card's going to go big. Not right away. There are hints. There are clues. If you play long enough, you'll learn how to look for them. It's a great game. The financial side and the game side. I love it all, guys, and I thank you all for allowing me to share it with you each and every day when we talk on the channel. Because Magic the Gathering is awesome, and I really do think it's going to be here for 50 years plus. It's just going to keep going. Way to go, everyone. We're here till the end. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is MTG Moxman. I may not be a finance king yet, but thanks to a lot of you out there, I've learned a lot, and I'll continue to grow. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Big shout out to all my patrons out there. You guys are awesome. Patrons on this channel are some of the most loyal people I've ever met. Patrons are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. These conversations in the Discord and email, everything, it's awesome. Keep it up. Hey, you guys made it. Welcome to the end of the video. Here we are. So, I washed some dishes, cleaned some toys, scrubbed some underwear, folded some socks, took a dog for a walk. Thought about eating dinner. I'll get to that after all this. Getting ready for the live stream that's coming up. Actually, this is happening on Monday. You're seeing this video. So it happened yesterday as I was getting prepared for the live stream. You'll probably see the same shirt in the live stream if you watch this part of the live stream. And I'm just saying live stream a lot to see how I can go. 10 times fast? Probably not. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. It's been amazing. You guys are awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys put in the comment sections. And remember, Christmas holidays are coming. So if you're looking for good deals, it's gonna happen. I just can't see why it wouldn't with all these products they've been pumping out. Look for some good deals. They'll be coming up soon. I will let you guys know as soon as I know. Guys, have a great day today. See you tomorrow. I'm just gonna sit down and just turn everything off here instead of walking out of the room again. You know how it is.